Okay. What's good with the YouTube of Convicts Perspective? Your boy Flacco coming live and direct, smashing through, sliding through, as always, with my co-host, Big Senor with Rojo, and a little bit of energy. And before we start this, man, I want to say rest in peace to Michael K. Williams, also known as Omar in that show, The Wire. I don't know if you guys ever watched that television show, The Wire, man, but Omar was a straight beast, man, an interesting character. I guess he just passed away, I guess, within the last day or so, man. So just want to send shouts out to him, man. He was a good actor. I like that character, Omar, man. He was with the business. Anyways, we got an interesting article. It's going to talk about that nonprofit organization called M.I.L.P.A, which is kind of interesting because from my hometown, we call it Milpas. But as always, we found an article, man, and we're going to give our perspective of it. And anytime you get anything that comes from a local, media, newspaper source that's kind of influenced by politicians as well as law enforcement, there's going to be some discrepancies, and a lot of times the stories get embellished, and that's the point of view I'm going to go with after we do a little spill on this article. So I'm gonna let Roll take it from here.
All right, man. This is from the end of October of 2019. It came out in the Californian.com, and it's by Joe Zildalowski. And the title's M.I.L.P.A response to accusation members of NUESTRA FAMILIA have infiltrated its organization. M.I.L.P.A's executive director responded to allegations that not only was one of his staffers caught on camera flashing gang signs, but also that a criminal gang has infiltrated the criminal justice reform organization. The allegations that M.I.L.P.A has been taken over by any organization are unsubstantiated and untrue, said John Gomez at a press conference Thursday afternoon. As executive director, I would never allow that to happen, ever. Gomez read a prepared statement but didn't take questions at the press conference inside M.I.L.P.A's Old Town headquarters. It took place hours after Voices of Monterey Bay and the Monterey County Weekly jointly published an investigative story that alleges active gang members infiltrated M.I.L.P.A in recent years, turning the group into a front for NUESTRA FAMILIA that has also recruited the youth M.I.L.P.A worked with. KSBW also contributed to the story. The lengthy story details the arrests of members in recent years, as well as allegations that NUESTRA FAMILIA's influence goes beyond arrests and accusations previously made public. The Salinas Californian has not independently verified their reporting. Gomez denied the allegations in that story, which was published about a week after the Salinas Californian first reported that Salinas police had documented 2 videos of M.I.L.P.A program and policy coordinator Israel Villa allegedly making gang signs. The police department's information report noted that Villa is a documented member of the Salinas East Market subset of the Norteños. Gomez says Thursday that Villa has been put on leave and M.I.L.P.A is conducting an internal personnel investigation. The Salinas Californian also first published video segments involving Villa from March 22nd video calls with Monterey County Jail inmate and then convicted killer Ty Cruz, 26. Other gang members were present and made similar signs signifying their Norteño subset, Salinas police wrote in their report. Villa also makes a slashing gesture across his throat, which the Weekly/Voices article described as a threat that Cruz would die if he snitched. It also occurred before Cruz's April 10th sentencing, in which he did not reveal the location of the 18-year-old victim's body despite the family's pleas. He was sentenced to 35 years. Gomez didn't comment on the videos or the informational police report at the press conference. We've always been transparent about the fact that we are an organization led by people who have been incarcerated and previously involved with gangs, and that we work with people at all phases of reentry, he says. We understand there are risks in working with formerly incarcerated and system-impacted people, and we take on this risk because it is critical to the safety and well-being of our community. Nonetheless, if a staff member is determined to be an active member of a gang, they cannot and will not be employed by M.I.L.P.A. This has always been and will continue to be our policy, Gomez says. When an individual is ready to set their life on a different path, we will be here to support them. He said M.I.L.P.A has helped youth and the community in a variety of ways, citing the reduction of Salinas's murder rate by 89% year over year and mentoring youth. This year alone, M.I.L.P.A interns have gone on to further their education at Yale University, as well as the University of Southern California at UC Santa Cruz. Gomez described M.I.L.P.A's work as focused on healing and addressing criminal justice reforms, including systemic violence that is rooted in racist ideology. He said M.I.L.P.A has a proven history of working with community partners and directly with systems, including the Salinas Police Department, Monterey County Departments of Probation and Public Health, California Division of Juvenile Justice, and prison systems across the country. Monterey County Probation Chief Marcia Parsons said via text message that M.I.L.P.A staff volunteered to conduct its Joven Nobles classes with minors at the youth center several years ago. We have not done business with them since then, so I would not define it as a proven history. Probation stopped the classes because M.I.L.P.A submitted a proposal to continue that asked for $100,000 in funding. The health department has paid $130,000 to M.I.L.P.A since January of 2018 to help find people eligible for sentencing reductions under the retroactive Proposition 47, which reclassified low-level property crimes and simple drug possession as misdemeanors, said Karen Smith, a spokeswoman for the agency. Between January of 2018 and June of this year, M.I.L.P.A has received 260 client and 184 individual intakes possibly eligible for reduction, with 60 receiving reductions at this point. M.I.L.P.A has also participated in or organized 4 South County town halls on Proposition 47, as well as had 106 referrals with the Monterey County Public Defender's Office, Smith said via email. They have been instrumental in helping our Proposition 47 population achieve reclassification of previous sentences and access services, she said. Having said this, we are concerned about the allegations being made against M.I.L.P.A and will be reviewing the matter carefully. During a press conference Tuesday on the Violent Suppression Task Force's summer campaign, Salinas Police Chief Adelaide Frazee said Salinas Police have no working relationship with or any other ties to the M.I.L.P.A organization. At that press conference, Freeze also called on the community and organizations to sever all ties and support with M.I.L.P.A in wake of the 2 videos of Israel Villa, as well as the group's opposition to police initiatives, such as school resource officers. The line has been drawn, she said. That echoed a statement by the Salinas Police Officers Association last week in which the Sworn Officers Union said M.I.L.P.A is a gang organization. In that statement, the union pointed to the newly surfaced allegations against Villa, as well as the recent sentencing of another M.I.L.P.A staffer, Luis Gutierrez, for his role in attack on a 14-year-old boy at a M.I.L.P.A event in August of 18. Richard Alex Diaz, then 20, has been sentenced after pleading out to punching and beating the boy. Gutierrez watched and encouraged the assault, prosecutors have said. Diaz stopped only when Gutierrez told him to. Gutierrez was sentenced to 2 years in prison after pleading guilty to an assault charge and a special allegation that the assault was done to benefit the Norteños gang. The Salinas Californian initially broke the story of the attack, which was captured on a cell phone video. M.I.L.P.A's leader Gomez has noted that the organization has received awards and national recognition for its work since its founding 8 years ago. On Monday and Tuesday, M.I.L.P.A's donors, including the Californian Endowment and the Action Council of Monterey County, expressed support for the group. On Thursday, Gomez also welcomed the community to look at its work with youth in trying to keep them out of the school to prison pipeline. We welcome everyone in our community to come learn more about the life-saving work that we do, he says. Interesting.
Man, bro, that's a very interesting article, man. The one thing that I'm gathering from this, man, is, anytime you have anybody that's trying to do anything in the community, right, that's proactive, whether it be recovery, church, nonprofit organizations, you're always going to encounter people that are on the fence, that are on the verge of going back to that lifestyle. It's the cost of doing business. And I think that the media, the Salinas Peace Officers Association and all that, I think they've tried to embellish their story to push their narrative on this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As one key statement that I seen in this whole article is that the M.I.L.P.A had no affiliation with Salinas Police and that they're pushing their own initiatives. And so I think it's an unfortunate situation. I think that they've been casted in a dark light by the media, by the Salinas Police Department specifically, just because you're going to have, like I said, when you're dealing with nonprofits and people who work the streets, you're going to have those that may be going back out there to that lifestyle as gang members, as drug addicts. I've seen drug counselors that have 10, 12 years. They weren't ready to hang it up and they go back out to using drugs again. I've seen people in the church for years. They start, preaching the gospel. They start doing all these things in the community. So you're working with individuals that could always go back to that lifestyle. Why cast them as being affiliated with an organization?
Right.
So, and if you notice that I've read any article afterwards, you don't hear them talking about this anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I think this M.I.L.P.A, program that's done a lot of good in the community, you're going to have some interactions with some active gang members and drug dealers. That's the cost of doing business. You're trying to help them get away from that lifestyle. There's no way. It's like as a kid when they're 15, 16 years old, that's running the streets, that's involved in these gangs. They're going to teeter-totter about trying to change their life or going back out there to the streets. That's the cost of doing business with these nonprofits, man. And I really kind of was offended by the original article that M.I.L.P.A responded to in this, because they had one or two individuals that got caught up in some cases, man. They weren't NF members. Yeah, they were affiliated, East Marqueta, whatever, and other hoods. But that doesn't mean that the NF has actually infiltrated this organization that's actually doing a lot of good in the community.
Hey, anytime that, you're a group, and you have a lot of ex-gang members or ex-drug users, whatever the case might be, and you're in an organization that is, doing things in the community, that are positive, is if you're not going like directly in line with law enforcement in the area, the district attorney's office, whoever might not like your message or part of your message or a couple of your members, you're an enemy. I mean, the police are no different. Okay, let me change that a little bit. Police and gangs are similar, where if you're not with us, you're against us. You know what I mean? So with this group not necessarily having the same, approach to community issues or the same philosophy that the police have, they're going to look at them as opposition. You know what I mean? And I think that there's always going to be an adverse relationship unless you're right there. Oh, Mr. Salinas police officer kind of thing. You know what I mean? Oh, you're right, daddy. That's how it's going to be, unfortunately, man. In my opinion, that's strictly
It's
my
political,
opinion.
bro. It's,
Yeah.
it's political, bro. It's about this. Let's cut off your funding.
Yeah.
If we don't support you, we have the community don't support you, no one's going to want to fund you. So because we don't agree with what you guys are doing, because you guys won't work with us, you know what I'm saying? We're going to put these barriers out in front of you. We're going to make it difficult for you guys to exist. We don't care that you guys are doing the most good in the neighborhood. We don't care that you've helped thousands of kids or hundreds of kids out there in the community. That's the problem with this. This has nothing to do. It has to do with politics. It has to do with money. It has to put up with barriers because you're not working in their best interest. Like it said in that article, the key part, they have no working relationship with this community-based program, and they don't support the initiatives that they push.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The communities need programs like this, because programs like this that are not, working parallel with law enforcement. Let's just keep it real. Law enforcement don't always know the best needs for the community. Who does more so? Ex-gang members. I've met a lot of very influential, seasoned, experienced law enforcement officers that know their stuff when it comes to prison gangs. But the same token, they never lived it. They can't understand the intricate details that go on a day-to-day basis. They're going off what they learn. It's the same thing within our communities. Very few of these law enforcement officers actually live in the communities where they grew up. You know what I'm saying? So this is where all the political aspirations come into play. And don't get me wrong. If an organization could infiltrate a program like this, they would do it. Without a doubt, if there's some benefits to it, financial benefits. But in this case, there's really no proof. Just because you have one, two gang members, I guess one kid got busted at a skate park. You know what I mean? And then they had a whole other incident where they seen one with pictures. It doesn't mean that these programs have been infiltrated with NF members. You know what I mean? If you're from Salinas alone, go ahead.
One thing you can always learn facts, okay? Like say me and you were just regular dudes, never been nowhere. We could learn all kinds of facts about the NF, about the MA. We could do our research, but what we're not gonna learn is the emotional aspect behind it. You know what I mean? The philosophy really, you know, deep down, the drive. We're not gonna learn none of that reading articles or going over reports and case files. You know, you actually have to have experience in that life to be able to understand the driving direction of that group. You know, you can understand, you know, we could read constitutions, we could read bylaws, we could read all that, and we could get an idea of what they're going for, but without actually being a part of something, there's way more to it than just numbers and words, bro. It's emotional. It comes from inside, and that's something you can't learn. That's something you have to experience to develop. You know, my opinion.
No, I agree, man. And you know, that's just like to go. Like if we were to sit there and cast every group as criminally affiliates, you could look at all these politicians that get caught up with doing stuff illegal, going to jail and stuff like that. I mean, you can't cast people aside when you're walking a thin line. You know what I mean? And dealing with addicts or criminals or gang members, this is expected from time to time. You're going to have people that go back to their old behaviors. That's just the reality of it, man. That's why you do the work that we do in hopes to reach these kids. When you do this type of community outreach, you're dealing with at-risk kids. Even those that start to work for the program, they may only have a year, 2 years away from that gang lifestyle, and they may be still teetering behind their beliefs and then also trying to change. That's what goes with being a nonprofit. That's what goes with doing community outreach. That's what goes with out there, you know, being involved with a church or dealing with an addict in recovery. I mean, when I've sponsored people in AA or something like that, I'm dealing with someone that maybe only has like 2 days clean. You know what I'm saying? And I'm putting myself at risk trying to reach out to them. I mean, and there's a lot of people who do the same type of work. They could easily go back out to start drinking or using drugs again. That's the reality of life. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to reach people and I mean, have a positive message and a positive impact, you're always at risk with the people that you're dealing with. And this is a very prime example of that occurring here.
I agree, no doubt. I mean, can we ever say anyway, unless somebody told us that's what it was done? No, but it's like, you know, this organization's trying to do good things, and they're trying to do it with the experience from, you know, these people actually being in the lifestyle that'll have way more influence to talk to other people than any police ever would. You know what I mean? Unless you got proof, leave them alone. Just because you don't agree with, you know, how the police department's doing it, how parole or probation or whoever might be doing it, let them do their thing, bro. If they're not violating no laws, leave them be. They're not doing nothing bad.
I'm curious of this question, Rojo. I want to see what programs the Salinas Police Law Enforcement Union, what programs do they support? And who are they supported by?
Things that make fun.
Who's their
Police
financial
Activities League, M.I.L.P.A, shit like that. That's what they're supporting.
Exactly, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's this, it's all about allocation of government funds, city funds, all that. They all have different things when they have these programs, man, and they're all fighting for different initiatives. And if one program starts to get these funds or grants that are given, it takes from these other programs that maybe have more of a working relationship with. You know what I'm saying? It's, believe it or not, nonprofits are just as much political as politics, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
There's a lot of politics that play in these type of situations that people don't understand. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. People always are going to be quick to go after any kind of rumors about churches, nonprofits, and all those kind of things as well, because they're not subject to the same kind of tax laws, and people are always going to assume you're trying to get over and trying to misappropriate and this and that. Well, 90% of the time, it's just assumptions. You know what I mean? Because I've seen a lot of things where, you know, this organization, nonprofit gets, you know, questioned by the IRS to see if there's some kind of embezzlement or this and that. And I've never really heard of too many of them sticking. You know, you're going to get the a couple people that are doing it, you know, not necessarily for the right reasons. You know what I mean? For what they're really talking about. They're doing it for personal gain. You know what I mean? But man, for the most part, them nonprofits and all that, they take a lot of work, bro. You know what I mean? You don't start off with all this funding. It's something you have to build up, and you have to have results, and you have to do this and you have to do that. And it's just, I'm seeing, what I'm seeing is, bro, they're just not seeing eye to eye, or they don't like members in that group, and they're gonna be a nemesis, bro. You know, they're gonna do everything they can to, because some of the funding that group may get, that M.I.L.P.A might get, might be taken away from something that they were trying to do. Well, there's there's 5 million of these dollars available for programs. Well, if these guys get 2 million for something, they might feel like it's coming out of their pocket and it's competition, you know, and they're going to go on the high horse that, oh, well, these guys are gang members and ex-gang members, and try to use that, you know, which would make them look bad in front of the community. You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. I just see it as competition personally.
I agree 100%. And it's not to say that these dudes didn't get caught up for their like the assault and battery and all these charges. Those happen. It's just that's what's going to happen when you're dealing with this type of lifestyle. When you're trying to reach people at risk, you're dealing with gang members. You're dealing with drug dealers. You're dealing with ex-cons. You're dealing with all this stuff. It's expected. You know what I'm saying? You can't let that shed bad light on all the good that these programs have done. You know what I'm saying? I went through a program, man, where someone got killed in the program by one of the persons there years before. But that's not to overshadow the thousands of lives who've been saved based upon that program. You're going to have those type of situations, man. And it just, like I said, I don't like how the media and the police ran with it and tried to cast this whole program as an NF-based group. There's no proof. There's no proof of any type of NF affiliation with this group at all. There's none. Now, if you're from Salinas and you're a Norteño, by birth, man, you're already affiliated, associated with the NF. It just is what it is out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I get that part, but I mean, you're trying to save lives, man. It's just unfortunate that the police and media did what they did. I don't respect it. You know what I'm saying? They're shedding it to a negative light, man. You know what I'm saying? And someone shared this article, and they told me that this program has done a lot in the community, man. It has helped a lot of lives, and that they've been given this title, which you don't see no more. You haven't seen any articles since this has came out. You haven't even heard them clarifying or even saying anything further about the NF. This was an article that they released about 1.5 years ago, and this is the article of M.I.L.P.A responding to that article. And since then, there have been no claims or allegations about any NF affiliation, man.
Yeah, I mean, even if there was, I mean, they definitely cleaned that up real quick. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter who's involved in things that are positive. You know, I mean, it's really hard to say at any time what any given person's objective is. But man, if they're continuing to do good work on the streets, man, hey, let them. You know, if you come across something that's shady, you know, if they're doing this and doing that, hey, they got to be subject to the same kind of, you know, potential consequences that anybody else will be doing. But if you're out there, man, the NF has actually done some good things in the communities throughout history. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't be too hard to grasp that maybe they are involved for the right reason. I know maybe there's some little money on the side, but maybe they truly are trying to help if they were involved. Until you see something that's not right, leave them guys alone, bro. If it's a positive thing, let it be positive. If they mess up, hey, I get it.
I haven't seen the NF being anything positive.
Back in the 70s, they did a lot of stuff for the community, man. Back in a long time ago.
Oh, back in the 70s, yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while, brother. But hey, you never know. Give them the benefit of the doubt until if you catch them doing something, and trust me, if they think the NF's involved, they're spending a lot of hours and manpower to penetrate that shield to bust them people. There's no doubt about it. And if you ain't done it yet,
you best believe that.
Leave them guys alone, bro. If they're doing something good, leave them alone.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't care if somebody's saving lives. I don't care who it is.
I agree.
Be it police, be it gang members, be it transgenders. I don't care. You know, if you're doing good and you're leading the youth in the right direction, the bag of gold doesn't have to come from the you know, the fucking end of the rainbow, bro. You know.
I agree.
All right, man. Well, shit, I guess that wraps that one up, man. But yeah, you guys check out that, man. Check out that organization. They've done a lot of good things, man. And tell us what you think in the comments. And either myself or Flacco will be on a little bit later live, man. Probably I'll probably jump on. Maybe Flacco will join me on this Labor Day Monday, man. Hope you guys have a good day off and barbecuing and spending time with your family and getting that extra day of rest, man. It's your boy Rojo, big homie Flacco, and we'll holler at you ladies and gentlemen later.